Hey everybody, it's Safia Marco, Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here once again. Sorry about that, I did not see that coming. I'm here to review Memories of a Murder, the Dennis Nilsen Tapes from Netflix. And as you can tell, I am in a very, very bad mood. And because of this video that I just watched, this Netflix thing that they made. That's all I really have to say. Like, you guys can just tell I was looking forward to this. I can't believe it. I can't believe how much I was looking forward to this. And I thought, hey, this is going to be something different. This is going to be something that's really unique and special, where we get to hear Dennis Nilsen talk for an hour and a half, and we're going to get to hear his words and get to hear his voice from prison, because the summary of this documentary is a complete false advertisement. It pissed me off so much. It said, this is Dennis Nilsen narrating his life and murders, and that's what this is. And then I turned it on, and I was like, what the fuck is this? I was pissed off, and I still am pissed off. What the hell did I just watch? What the hell did I just spend an hour and a half of my time watching? This was trash. Oh shit, I spit on the phone. Fuck. I'll wipe that off a little bit. Hopefully you guys don't hear that. But anyways, I was really excited because it started off and, he's narrating and it's just his voice. And he has a fantastic voice. Never mind that he was a serial killer. He's got like a serious, like, audiobook level voice. And it's like, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get to hear his words for an hour and a half. And it's going to be so interesting and so intriguing. And it's going to really give me an insight into his life of doing terrible things and then being like, oh, it was just all this movie that happened and society made me into a monster, and that's basically his story. And I don't know what that voice was, because that's not what he sounds like at all. I'm sorry for trying to do a Dennis Nilsen voice, because that was not good. So this is basically just... It's basically just like any other serial killer documentary, where they start off where they discover a body or a victim, whatever. And then after that, they talk about finding the killer, and then they talk about his backstory, and then they talk about the trial. I mean, it's literally that exact same boring ass, mundane formula that we've seen over and over again with these serial killer documentaries. And it was just so bad. It was so bad, because this movie, I would say it was about 80 to 90% other people besides Dennis talking. And it was so frustrating sitting there and like, God, I want to listen to Dennis. I was really mad. I hate this movie. I mean, what were they thinking? This was a huge false advertisement. They had that picture, the poster itself is a picture of Dennis on top of a cassette tape. And you'd think from seeing that the cassette tape would be the whole movie. And then you watch the movie and it's hardly in the movie. And other than that, what was this? Why did we need this? Why? So you could just scratch another serial killer's name off the Netflix list? So, okay, we did Dennis Nilsen. Okay, next we can do that person. And next we can do that person. Like, seriously, fuck off. This is the last one, too. I am never watching another serial killer documentary that Netflix makes again, because this was false advertising. And you want to know something else? I take back my rating of Dez. I give Dez a B+. You know why? Because even though, you know what this documentary did? It showed me that Dez was a complete fabrication of events. Like, they talked about, like, Steven Sinclair. In the Dez show, they made it look like Dez was the one who remembered Steven's name. And they had this narrative where it was, like, trying to say that Dez was, like, purposefully withholding names, and, like, he was playing this intricate game or some bullshit, you know, fictional type bullshit. But this documentary, you know, it really shed light on all these things that were inaccurate in Dez. And it was really funny because, you know, the main detective in Dez, I said, that fat guy, he was so boring, he was trash, and I hated that boring-ass detective guy just see in any show ever. And well, with the real detective, he's actually really cool, and I could watch him in a movie or a series. Like, he's that cool, and in his interviews he's talking, I'm like, this guy's cool. I will watch a show about him any day. But then they terrible casting, except for David Tennant. And then you got the guy who was almost killed by Dennis. And I did enjoy seeing him and getting to hear his story from him. And then after that, they played the recording of him when he was younger. So I don't know why they just pick one or the other. Why they had to play both back to back, because they're lazy ass bitches in Netflix. But they really miscast him too in the series. In the series, they casted like a guy who looks like a girl, basically. And the guy in real life really did not look like a girl like that. So they really failed with the casting. But the thing is that at least Dez was entertaining. And Dez had more Dez than this. Even though this was called Memories of a Murder, the Dennis Nilsen Tapes. It's in the title. It's in the title. The title says, hey, this documentary is going to be an authentic cassette tape video where we get to hear him and we get to see all this footage of this colorful footage. And that's another thing too, Dez. Because Dez made the world look like shit. It made the world look like complete grays and browns and shit browns and like, ugh. Like, who would want to live in that world? Well, in real life, they had this actual footage from the 1970s, and everything was colorful and vibrant. And I was like, yeah, I know. It confirms exactly what I always said. That these people nowadays with their movies and TV, they suck out all the color like color vampires. They suck it all out and make everything look ugly and dull. And so that's another thing with Dez. But still, Dez is better than this. That is embarrassing. That a fictionalized show with this shitty sort of, like, it's only 3 episodes. I mean, what kind of shit is that? But it's so much better than this. This was just so by the books. It was so it's just everything we've already seen before. It's like, why even watch this? What was I doing watching this? This was a waste of time and effort and money. Everything that was put into this show should have been put into making something good. They even had a free soundtrack. They had this part where apparently they said, like, Dennis recorded 8 hours of himself playing the keyboard and getting high on weed, and you didn't play that the whole time? It is a free soundtrack. He gave you the soundtrack and you didn't use it. You didn't use what you had because you want to make another one in the future, don't you? Oh, this time we're going to play 2 more minutes of Dennis talking. And then the next documentary, we're going to play 1 more minute of him talking. And we're just going to hold it all to ourselves and not really, just release it all right now. And I'll listen to that and enjoy that because that is what I wanted from this show. I did not want these real life people talking that aren't Des the whole time. I mean, it was so insultingly bad. And sorry, I'm a little stuffy from it's really cold in my room now, and that's what happens in the winter, is that my room gets really cold and I get stuffy the next day, and it's really like an irritant. But anyways, as I said, this documentary was a complete waste of time. There was a really sexy constable. I mean, you want to talk, I have never seen a police woman as sexy as the one in this documentary. And, she was really hot. I mean, if anything, you could watch this documentary just to see this sexy constable. There you go right there. But this documentary was really not worth it. It's sad because they had all this. I mean, I don't know how much, because, it's one thing if they, if this was all they had and they worked with what they had. But for all I know, he recorded hours and hours of talking. And I want to hear that talking. I don't want to just see what they want to give us in this little tiny scraps here and there. Like, oh, here's a little scrap. Here's a little scrap here. I want to hear the full thing, because there were these moments where they actually played it, where they played him talking. And they would also have this beautiful footage, like they would basically paint a picture of what he was thinking, and it was so cool. And I really liked that. That was like really good. But then everything else was just like, I don't care. Like, this is just stuff you'd see in any other documentary. People, if they want to know about Dennis Nilsen, they'll just watch one of those other documentaries that have been made in the past million years. And they even have mid-credit scenes, too. I mean, what kind of shit is that? They had scenes that played through the credits. They had these stupid scenes where it was just like the same scene cut into 3 pieces throughout the credits. And it was like, why did they do that? What a waste of time. What a stupid idea. And now, let's talk about the thing that really pissed me off. The sound. I am really getting fed up with movies and TV shows nowadays, and their bad sound. Why would you bother watching a movie or a TV show if you couldn't understand and you couldn't hear what's going on? Why even bother? There are so many movies and shows nowadays, and they sound like this. I mean, that's the level of volume This movie, I had this documentary on max volume, and I still had trouble hearing it, partially because there was someone talking in the background, going, yap, 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 yap. But other than that, that was only like half of the documentary. But, besides the real life irritation, the show's volume was not loud enough. It was on max volume. That really irritates me, because that's just like, okay, I can't even hear this. How am I going to review something if I can't hear it and understand it? Do I have to put on subtitles because you can't bother to do the sound properly? Do your jobs and make the sound so I can hear it. Because you gotta hear stuff if you're gonna watch it. Watching stuff is only half of it. You gotta also listen to what's going on. And to listen to what's going on, you gotta have good sound. This documentary had shit sound. Now it's time to rate it. Let's rate Dennis Nilsen. No, wait. What was it called? Oh, yeah. Memories of a Murder. I mean, there's no memory of a murder in this entire movie. The only memory that we get to hear is the memory of the guy who almost got killed by him. That's the only memory of a murder we get to hear. It's called Memories of a Murder, not memory of a attempted murder. Well, actually, 2 attempted murders. Sorry about that. Well, one of them, he jumped out the window, which was really creepy. The fact that, that they literally had... Oh, that's another thing. I'm not even going to talk about the real life stuff, because the real life stuff will get me even angrier. Because they literally had a case where Dennis... See, Dahmer and Dennis are a lot of luck. Dennis was trying to kill someone, and this fucker jumped out the window to get away from that creepy ass Dennis. And then the kid and his family, they didn't want to do anything, and they didn't want to take any action. And so guess what? Dennis got to kill all those people because of that selfish ass family that didn't want to send this guy to jail, because they said they could have sent Dennis to jail for like the rest of his life for attempted murder. What a failure. What a okay, I'm not going to talk about real life anymore, because that'll get really nasty. But I rate this show an F-. This was a complete huge waste of my time. And you know what? Even though the Fear Street movies are bad, I would say this is worse than the Fear Street movies. That is how much this pissed me off. Fuck this documentary up the ass. So, anyways, if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment, tell me what you thought about Memories of a Murder, because I know some people probably will just eat it up and go like, oh my god, that was the greatest thing I've ever seen. Netflix does it again with another shitty documentary that doesn't really say anything useful. You know what I mean? And then subscribe to our channel for more honest reviews, because that's the thing. You ever heard of honest trailers? Well, these are basically like brutally honest reviews. I don't hold back. I don't, spare anyone's feelings. Fuck that shit. These movies are time that I spent watching it. And if they're bad, then I'm going to say that they're bad. And I'm going to talk all about how bad they are. So, goodbye, everybody. See you soon for the next review.